Liberating the galaxy, stomping bugs, every kid's dream. Good luck out there. I'll see you on the front lines.
Helldiver training is the toughest test in the galaxy.
As I sit here, half concussed and drooling on my keyboard, battered by bots, bugs and buddies, I finally realised the importance of releasing my POV in Helldivers 2, especially for the 3 people on my Steam friends list who don't have it yet, or the 56% of non-democratic countries on Earth who definitely have access to YouTube and care about satirical combat guides for a video game. Helldivers number 2 graces the stale, dry Weetabix landscape of co-op horde shooters, injecting gamers much like myself with a dose of sheer nonsense and a leitmotif that follows you in your sleep. Before you say, hang on a minute, didn't we just get a game parodying this exact sort of thing? Liberty demands that I ask you to scrape the memory of any similar franchises out of your brain, although convincing people to play less Helldivers for other games would mean I could play it more. Leave the thinking to the guy who does nothing but flap his cape in the artificial wind of your starship. The only problems Helldivers will present you with anyway are logistical dilemmas like accidentally spending 1 billion Super Earth dollars to nuke a woodlouse, or shooting bugs near a teammate knowing you could miss and make someone quite angry. Us veteran Helldivers know that moral obligation is a concept long forgotten, for in the grim dark future, there is only the cold, twisted, occasionally hilarious reality of war. I have spent years studying the baddies of Helldivers, at least I assume so. I'm still shaking off the effects of being cryogenically frozen for the 400th time. To be honest, it might have just been a week. Most of the game is quite straightforward. You drop down, follow a few easygoing objectives, and shoot anything that moves. There's no enemy health scaling, so the most basic bugs will die in a few shots to pretty much any gun. However, amongst the vile Terminid population exist a few outliers that might have you hopping with rage. Stalkers, for example, can go partially invisible, plus if they actually decide to gun for you instead of just buggering off for no reason, they're a tad faster than you. Lob a live grenade in their front porch window and they won't bother you anymore. Others, like Brood Commanders, might not seem too intimidating until they die and start crawling at breakneck speed towards you or anything it deemed a threat before it got its head taken off. There's 3 types of enemies that have my character whinging about his leg more often than any other. The first is these spitting bugs that look quite docile. The second are these impressive looking Titan bugs who also spit, but they look much cooler doing it. You can rest easy knowing that these giant lumbering morons aren't too much of a threat despite their size. They stick out like a sore thumb, and for that reason, get focused most of the time. Unlike some of the other bugs, there's no way a Bile Titan can just sneak up on you. Bile Titans are better at distracting your teammates as the real enemy, Chargers, commit 4 different cases of vehicular manslaughter before anyone does anything about them. It was during the sweatiest difficulty 4 game of my life when I realised Chargers were going to become my arch nemesis. Although that doesn't really sound very compelling. Let's just crop that. It was during the sweatiest difficulty 7 game of my life where I realised I really don't like these dudes. I've died to Chargers more times than I've seen a Helldivers YouTube thumbnail with the 1,000-yard stare meme, so allow me to enlighten you less enlightened folk on how to fight the insect equivalent of a psychopath in a bumper car. FYI, that thing that Chris Pratt does in the Jurassic World movies where he stops a ravenous, untamed predator from eating him by holding up his hand, does not work. Some advice I've seen says to put on some lighter gear and kite them around. Running away from humanity's sworn enemy doesn't sound very democratic to me, is what I would be saying if they weren't completely right. Charges are also significantly easier to dodge if you have a team to back you up. Make no mistake, there are still bound to be a few miscommunications per game, so it's not a requirement for you to play teams specifically. Come to think of it, playing as a pre-made might be the worst advice I give you in this entire video.
I'm coming to get you, Fred! Get out of there!
Apart from legging it and getting your friends to do all the dirty work, some items can help to survive the big bugs. Burst weapons like the Breaker shotgun are a cheap but slow solution to busting Chargers, who will bleed out if their butt is leaking all over the place. The real problem arises when there's more than one Charger. 2 or more can make dodging a bit of a pain, so I like to refer to this excellent guide I found on the internet for when you inevitably get knocked down by the big guys.
Do everything you can to get up, but if you can't, lay on your side to protect your most vital organs, your lungs and heart, and cover your head.
This is about living or dying. This is about dying.
Chargers become less threatening once you get the holy grail of upgrades, but then again, if you have a railgun then you wouldn't be here now, would you? One of the best ways to kill a Charger as a railgunless Helldiver is to strip the front armor of whichever leg you like the least. The fleshy, exposed leg is a supercharged weak spot compared to the abdomen of the Charger. For this, The easily unlocked anti-tank launcher is a godsend. They kindly give you 2 so that when the first rocket mysteriously does 0 damage to the front leg, you don't immediately dive into the Steam review page. For the pro snipers out there, 2 shots of the autocannon to the back legs will take out a charger, which sounds amazing, but it's a bit inconsistent to pull off in all the chaos. If you're out of anti-tank stuff and all else fails, throw an orbital or 2 at the charger and pray that it gets stuck in this weird stare-off that sometimes happens. As for a less conventional solution, the jetpack is complementary to the runaway playstyle, not the I want to see if I can jump over this playstyle. With it, you can reach some cheeky spots where the charger can't hit you. Taking high ground can be the play. Unfortunately, some of the bugs can climb, and you're one atmospheric fart away from tumbling to your doom. That pretty much concludes the lecture on chargers. I don't have many other ways to take out the Terminid's most annoying bug until you get to the higher levels or gaslight yourself into thinking the flamethrower is a good idea. What about the other faction and their troublesome units though? Because we already live in an automaton hellscape, I've asked this silly chap here to show me a side of the galaxy where the bugs are big and bountiful. I admit I haven't played many robo missions, I've been conditioned to be very scared of them, so they might make a feature in a different video. I hope that this video at least helped you to become an arbiter of leg destruction, so get out there and make me proud, in the name of democracy. Thanks for watching.